Hey everyone, so I got my intake and my access port a couple weeks ago. I finally had time this last weekend to get it installed, so I thought I'd make a little tutorial video of how I did it. I hope you guys like it, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And let me know if you guys are putting anything in, getting ready to do upgrades, and love to hear from you. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to remove is the intake cowl at the front of the car. Usually there's two plastic screws with washers holding this in. Mine had bolts in it, so I'm assuming there was an intake in this car before and they just put this back together quickly when they sold it back to the dealership. But I mean, they were 13mm bolts, just pulled them out. Pretty easy. When you do, after you get it off, put the cowl aside because you're actually going to use it later with the new Airbox. Okay, I'm just going to remove the mass airflow sensor here. Just unplug it from the top and make sure you move it out of the way so that it doesn't get in your way when you're pulling the box out or the hose. There are two hose clamps holding this the intake hose onto the car. Just unscrew them, loosen them up, and pull the pipe off. Pretty easy. Okay, so normally there are two bolts that are holding the intake box to the car itself. The one down beneath the airbox, and then the one to the just right behind the headlight. Mine only had one bolt in it, so I only had to remove one bolt. The whole bracket was actually missing, so I had to order another bracket from Subaru. Once it gets here, I'll install it and reconnect it to my my new airbox. But once you get those out, the best way to remove the airbox, you'll see here in a second. I just went ahead and disconnected the back part and the front part and removed the back part first. There are a couple holes, there's like a hose back there that kind of makes things cramp. Just kind of moved out of the way, get the back out, then you can pop the front part off of the out of the car. Okay, so this is a 10mm bolt that's holding the power steering fluid reservoir. You're going to want to remove it because the new box is going to connect to the front of that. They also give you a new bolt that's gonna go in there. When you do put the new box in, make sure that you get the mass airflow sensor, the wire, to go through the cutout of the box, the back, or else it'll get pinched down beneath the box when you bolt it to the car. They give you three new bolts. Just one goes into the power steering fluid tank reservoir, and then the other two go to the other mounting spots where the original box airbox was in. Again, since I only have the one at the bottom of the airbox, I'm not going to be able to do the one on the side. This bracket is the bracket that holds the mass airflow sensor pipe that connects to your air filter. And that goes beneath the airbox, but into the same bolt that holds on the box. Just make sure you slide it under there, line it up correctly. Don't cross thread it. It took me a few tries to get everything lined up correctly. I had to keep pulling it out, put it back in, but a long extension and just a little bit of patience, and you should be able to get it in there without cross threading it. Alright, so here is the mass airflow sensor on the original box. It's held on by 2 screws, pretty easy to take off. There is a rubber gasket around the bottom part of the sensor itself, which you have to kind of, when you pop it off, when you put it into the new pipe, you have to kind of push it in to make sure it seals correctly. They do also provide you with 2 new screws that are Allen head wrenches to hold the mass airflow sensor in place. And once you get those on, it's ready, pretty much ready to go onto the car. So the best way I found to put the intake on was to twist it so that the pipe was facing upwards, and then push it in and twist it down while applying some force to it. It took a little while, a few tries to get it on, but once I got it on, it went in pretty correctly. I know I did go past the little tab there that on the inlet pipe with the silicone hose. I'll probably take it off this weekend and pull it out a little bit so it's not so close to the box. So the airflow sensor is not so close to the box and the opening. Yeah, but once that's done, I just twist it around a little bit, make sure that the hose wasn't laying on anything or touching anything, moved the clamps into position, and then getting ready to tighten it up. Now I'm not tightening the hose clamps up completely, just making sure that they're on there snug so that it doesn't move a whole lot, because I'm still going to have to adjust it when I connect the airflow housing pipe to the bracket. Now we'll show you here in just a second. Okay, so there's these 2 screws they give you. There's the bracket that we installed earlier comes up and connects to the back of the filter housing. There's 2 holes back there for the screws, and this really helps stabilize the pipe so it doesn't move around and vibrate, and jump around inside the car itself. It is kind of cramped in there, so it took me a little while to get them in, but once you get them in pretty well, they're pretty easy. These are 8mm bolts, by the way. Alright, just doing some final adjusting here, making sure everything's cinched up the way I want it. Make sure that the silicone hose is on correctly, make sure it's not touching in the bottom, and then just tighten up the 2 hose clamps, and that pretty much takes care of most of the install. Don't forget to reattach the mass airflow sensor to the top of the pipe. Okay, replace the cowl. There is a cutout in the box for the back part of the cowl that you just kind of slip it into. Fairly easy. Once that's in, just bolt it back down. Alright, there's the top part of the box, and it's actually held down by 4 Allen head screws that they provide you. Each of the Allen heads come with little plastic washers that go on before you put them in. Those are the 4 spots. One of them is covered by the cowl, and you kind of have to lift up on it, and you'll see here in a second. Doing some final checking and make sure nothing's loose. I didn't forget to connect anything or tighten anything. So there you have it. Just a simple, quick, easy upgrade that makes the car look great, and it gives it an amazing sound while you're driving. Alright guys, so thanks for watching my video. Let me know in the comments, if you liked it, didn't like it. That's my first time shooting and recording and editing a video, so I thought it was a pretty fun experience. I've never done that before. I had a great time doing it. Anyway, the intake so far has been great. I'm loving the sound of it, especially when it starts to spool up. Man, you can really hear that thing, going. It sounds like a tornado under the hood, so it's great. It looks awesome, sounds awesome. Very happy with it so far. Let me know if you guys are doing any upgrades, if you're doing anything, make videos or got pictures. I'd love to see it. I'd love to talk about it, Yeah, let me know. And again, if you have any questions, have any comments, hit me up in the comments or email me, either way. I'll catch you guys next time.